Welcome to the Archive Network. I'm Aurelius, and with me, as always, Malik. We curate the Lineage archive. Today, we open a new file. House of Medici. Malik, you've had this one on your desk for a while. Power in Florence didn't always come with a crown. Sometimes, it arrived quietly, hidden in ledgers and whispered in the shadows of candlelit chambers. The Medici family understood this truth quite well. They weren't conquerors like the ones we read about in grand tales. They were merchants with a keen eye for opportunity. Their rise through wealth and influence would ultimately shake the very foundations of the Republic, reshaping alliances and rivalries in ways most never saw coming.
Aurelius, it's vital to remember that power dynamics are more than just transactions. The Medici's influence was deeply rooted in human relationships, not just numbers on a page. Giovanni di Bicci de Medici's rise was all about trust and reputation. He had an incredible knack for navigating the intricate web of alliances around him. It's a reminder that ambition often hides in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to emerge and change everything.
True, but Giovanni's careful stewardship was also strategic. He founded the Medici Bank in 1397, a move that secured financial power for the family in a rapidly changing world. It was a calculated decision, allowing them to lend wisely when others were blinded by greed. While rival families were caught up in reckless pursuits, the Medici quietly built their fortune. They understood that stability and discretion often lead to lasting influence, and so they played the long game.
Yet, this isn't just about financial success. Giovanni's legacy was about maintaining a facade of respectability. He knew that the true game of power was played behind closed doors, in the subtlety of gestures and unspoken agreements. His son Cosimo inherited this delicate balance, but the stakes were much higher. The pressure weighed on him. Every decision could tip the scales. It was a tightrope walk, where one misstep could unravel everything their family had built.
Cosimo took a page from his father's book. He understood the art of giving. Discreet gifts were his tools, building alliances through genuine generosity. Public feasts? Too flashy for his taste. Instead, he invested in hospitals and supported scholars, quietly weaving a web of influence. This was his strategy, a way to secure the Medici legacy. We see how such actions ripple through time, shaping not just family fortunes, but also the core of power.
But that also made him a target. The old elite, feeling threatened by the Medici's growing influence, saw a chance to strike back. They weaponized the courts, throwing accusations of corruption at Cosimo. It wasn't just politics. It was a desperate grasp for power. Behind those accusations were real people, scared of losing their status and privileges. They were willing to do anything to undermine him, even if it meant tearing apart the core of their society.
In 1433, the scheming finally paid off. Cosimo got exiled. But his absence exposed just how fragile his rival's power truly was. Florence stumbled economically without the Medici's credit support. We saw a city that once thrived now struggling to keep its merchants afloat. The rival factions thought they could play their political games without consequences, but this debacle illustrated the true cost of their ambition. Power is never as secure as it seems, is it?
And that fragility was crucial. It was that very fragility that paved the way for Cosimo's triumphant return. The people, they began to see the Medici as more than just bankers. They realized they were the backbone of Florence, holding everything together. That shift wasn't just about money or credit. It was about their identity, their pride. It made them rethink who they were and what they stood for in this vibrant city. It was deeply personal.
Exactly. Once back, Cosimo acted with calculated grace. He didn't just fill the Signoria with loyalists. He carefully orchestrated alliances that would solidify his power. He commissioned grand projects that showcased their vision for Florence. The Palazzo Medici rose to prominence, becoming a symbol of their ambition. It represented strength without ostentation, a clever move that spoke volumes. In the end, it was all about establishing a legacy, one that would endure long after he was gone.
Yet, it's important to recognize the underlying tensions that simmered just beneath the surface. The old guard, figures like the Albizzi and Strozzi, didn't simply vanish after their losses. They were still around, conspiring and plotting, always hoping to reclaim the influence they once had. Cosimo's approach wasn't just shrewd. It was a matter of survival for him and his supporters. Every decision he made came with a human cost, impacting lives in ways we can't always see.
By 1434, Cosimo emerged as the undisputed force behind Florence. He didn't hold a royal title, yet everyone recognized him as Pater Patriae, the father of the fatherland. This was a new kind of power, one built on influence rather than a crown. It's a shift we often overlook. While kings ruled by birthright, Cosimo wielded authority through his connections and wealth. This transformation in governance reshaped not just Florence, but the very nature of power itself in our world.
But that very identity was precarious. The Medici fortunes were intertwined with the fate of Florence itself. They weren't just merchants anymore. They were building a dynasty. But at what cost to the people? The weight of ambition pressed down on everyone. The whispers of discontent echoed through the streets, growing louder with each passing day. Families struggled while the Medici family rose. It felt like a game of power, and the stakes were high for all involved.
The Medici's careful navigation of power established a new order in Florence, one that many didn't see coming. They blended old-world cunning with new-world ambition, crafting alliances and nurturing rivalries, all while operating in the shadows. It's all about influence, how it's gained and how it's wielded. We can learn a lot from their methods. They prepared meticulously, waiting for just the right moment to emerge, and when they did, it was nothing short of transformative.
That's where we leave it for now. Part 1 of 5, House of Medici, is far from done. If you're new here, we're Aurelius and Malik, curators of the Lineage Archive, part of the Archive Network. Part 2 drops soon.